Welcome friends once again to another featured product review. Today's product solves the issue of signal loss to your display when it's located some distance away from your streaming device or located at the other end of the room. Presenting the Phoossno series certified fiber optic HDMI cables. Hi, my name is Nick from the TV Box Top channel, and some of you may or may not have heard of this type of cable, its uses, or the technology behind it. There are also some of you who have seen these cables and cannot accept or understand the difference compared to your standard HDMI cable. In this review, I'm going to explain and demonstrate the technology behind these cables, its uses, and why it's not for everyone, and you'll get to decide whether this type of cable is right for you. So stay tuned, you have that right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Ugoos, the best manufacturer of Android TV boxes in the industry. With their line of high-quality models, Ugoos not only provides the highest standard of quality hardware, but they are also the leading developers of Android TV box firmware that is second to none with features many have tried to replicate. Their boxes are backed by regular firmware updates and good customer service. You can find their boxes almost everywhere in major retail online stores, but for the best prices, latest models, along with coupons, see the link in the description below this video. The latest Ugoos EM6B Plus would also be used for today's demonstration, and now back to the video. Welcome back. So these are Phoossno's fiber optic HDMI cables. They come in lengths of 5 meters up to 20 meters for domestic use, but these cables are capable of much greater lengths. Currently on Amazon, they come in 10, 15 and 20 meters, and later on 5 meters and 7.5 meters will be added. So what's the purpose of these cables and why are they important or any different from a standard HDMI cable? First of all, these cables are not for everyone but can be used by anyone if they so desire. These cables use fiber optic strands to transmit signal from your streaming device to your display using fiber optic light technology. For those of you out there in the IT and telecom field will instantly understand the technology behind these cables, whereas those who are unfamiliar may brush this aside as hogwash. So to better explain, I will start with what's the difference in signal that passes through a copper wire as opposed to a fiber optic strand. In your standard 6 feet HDMI cable, signal travels to your display via copper wires without issues and can deliver signal containing 4K or 8K HDR with features such as Dolby Vision display, Dolby Atmos and DTS surround sound audio. With your device sitting right next to your TV or monitor, there is no issue whatsoever. However, if you were to connect a projector, let's say that's mounted to your ceiling, or you have your streaming device located at the opposite end of the room, it would require a much longer cable to deliver that signal. This is where your problems begin, because the question of bandwidth comes into play. In order for 4K or 8K signal to successfully reach your TV or monitor at those lengths, the cable must have the required bandwidth to carry such loaded signal. At short distances, this is not an issue. However, at distances in excess of 15 feet 4.5 meters, the problem of attenuation starts stepping in, and the problem of reduced bandwidth and signal loss becomes a factor. So the longer the HDMI cable, the higher the attenuation, hence resulting in poor signal or total signal loss. For 1080p, attenuation is not as aggressive as it is with 4K or 8K display. So for this very set reason, fiber optics were invented and why it was used to create these cables. More than that, because of the nature of the transmission over fiber optics, which is light signal, it has a much higher bandwidth, over 300 times that of the signal over copper wires. This in turn allows a user to locate their display far away from their device and enjoy all the features the device has to offer with little to no signal loss whatsoever. Due to this, fiber optic HDMI cables has features different to that of your copper cable, both in manufacturing, handling, and usage. Firstly, in order for a signal to transmit over a strand of fiber optic glass, the light has to be transmitted on one end using electronics, received at the other end using electronics, and then sent to your display. To achieve that, in each end of the cable there are electronic circuitry, one to transmit the light and one to receive it. This changes the way you connect your cable to your device because the cable is not bidirectional, meaning that you cannot connect the cable in any direction you want. There is a source and a display, and these are clearly labeled on each end of the cable. This is due to the type of fiber they are using, which is single-mode fiber that transmits light in one direction. The other characteristic can become controversial to someone curious enough to cut open one of these cables. What they will find is that there are copper wires on the inside. However, these copper wires are not for transmission and serves two functions. 1. The circuitry in each end of the cable needs power that comes from the HDMI port transmitting the signal. These copper wires provide power to the electronics for generating, receiving, and converting of the light signal. 2. They also provide some added strength to the cable. Because fiber is literally glass, it's flexible but very fragile. So even though they added tubing and Kevlar to protect the cable from excessive bending or breaking, the copper cables also assist with protecting from pull damage during routing. So I hope my explanation gave you a level of understanding of the science behind fiber optic signal, and for more information you can simply Google it. But there's a greater concern behind fiber optics, and for those in the technical field who would fully understand the importance of quality testing of your fiber optic fusion splices and patch cables for signal loss from bad splices and dust. But how would one know whether the HDMI cable was properly spliced and is transmitting the right amount of dBs to your display without this equipment? This brings us to today's sponsor and manufacturer of the Phoossno brand called Smart AV Link. Smart AV Link was launched since 2009 and started to assemble active optical fiber cables since 2013. They specialize in photoelectric conversion cables, research and development, manufacturing, and customized services. Back in March this year, in collaboration with Granite River Labs, a global leader in engineering services and test solutions for connectivity and HDMI Forum Authorized Testing Center, announced that Smart AV Link achieved a full certification for their 10 meters and 20 meters active ultra high speed optical HDMI cables, making them the first manufacturer of optical HDMI cables to achieve proper transmission at those lengths. But not only being the first manufacturer to obtain certification for those lengths, they are also the only seller on Amazon and other retail stores that guarantee the quality of their cables by providing a QR scan code that provides data on the cable you purchase, and it also gives you a support form to report any issues you may have. The environment at their factory in which these cables are manufactured is of the highest standard to ensure that their products meet or exceed industry safety requirements, and they conduct quality testing to deliver the highest quality cables to their customers. So to demonstrate what I was speaking about earlier about this cable not being for everyone, and for those that do need it, why it's important in relation to signal strength, bandwidth, and attenuation, I will perform a video HDR test using this 50 feet 15.2 meters copper HDMI cable and the 65 feet 20 meters fiber optic HDMI cable from Phoossno. So what we have here is the fiber optic cable actually being longer than the copper HDMI cable. And using the Ugos AM6B Plus TV box, I will play an HDR video first using the copper cable to see if it triggers the HDR display on the TV. Then I'll play the same video using the fiber optic cable to see the difference. So just to be sure what we are looking for, I connected a regular 4 feet 1 meter copper HDMI cable. And on the TV, we are looking for the HDR icon to appear once the movie starts to play. And there you have it. The HDR icon appears without issues, and it just goes to show that if your device is sitting right next to your TV or display, there is no need for a fiber optic cable. Next, this is the 50 feet 15 meters copper cable, and I'll perform the same test. Unfortunately, when I connected the cable, I could not get a display, But from past experience, I reconnected the 4 feet cable and set the box to 1080p resolution, and I then reconnected the 50 feet cable. At 1080p resolution, you can get a picture with this 50 feet cable, and from this video demonstration, you can also get HDR display. However, when I tried to change the resolution to 4K at 60Hz, I could not get a display, which means this 50 feet copper cable does not have the bandwidth to carry 4K or 8K signal. You might be lucky with basic 1080p, but definitely you will not get HDR display. And now with the 65 feet 20 meters fiber optic cable, which is even longer than the copper cable, and I'll perform the same test. You must remember that you cannot connect the fiber optic cable in any direction. You must plug the end labeled source to your device and the other end labeled display you connect to your TV or monitor, or else you will not get a picture. And the results speak for itself. The video played smoothly, the display was of a high quality, and the HDR icon was triggered during the video playback. So this is definitely the cable you will want to use if your display is over 15 feet away from your device and intend to view 4K HDR. So viewers, as simple as this cable looks, there's a heap of technology that goes into creating these cables. And for those who still don't believe in fiber optic HDMI, well, I hope this video changes your perspective. In my personal use, I have 3 displays in various rooms that are connected to my security camera's DVR, and using an HDMI splitter, I'm able to get simultaneous feed across each display using these cables, with each display being approximately 10 to 15 meters away from the DVR. And with that said, I've come to the end of this review. After watching this video, if you feel that you need this type of cable for your project, or you need to ensure that you receive 4K or 8K picture quality to your display located some distance away, then the Phoossno fiber optic HDMI cables will be right for you. See the link in the description below this video to their Amazon Phoossno store, where you will get the lowest prices on their cables. Thanks for watching. Give this video the thumbs up if the information was of value. Thanks goes out to Phoossno for sending their cables and providing the scientific information to share with you, my valued viewers. If you are new to this channel and like the way that I present and provide information about products, please hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell before leaving to be notified when I release new videos or decide to do a giveaway in the future. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch this video. Stay tuned and I'll be seeing you in the next one.